Gary Lehman tipped it ahead on the left wing boards. It'll come back to him. Lehman looks for Salming behind the net. Gives it to him. Salming's long pass off the boards down the ice. This will be icing. That's Bob Murray going back quickly. Icing called against Toronto. Tonight's game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
You see this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. I use 1040 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
The best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy. I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
There's one for you, Grandpa.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Assistant coach Dan Maloney, along with Mike Nicolak over there, and no doubt pleased the way things are going here on the Leafs' first Saturday at home for this 83-84 season. I'm Bob Cole with Gary Dornhofer. And it's 5-2, Toronto Maple Leafs, nearing the 5-minute mark of the second period. Hawks shoot it in. Fraser tried to knock it down. That's Lehman again. Gary Lehman got ready in a hurry, too high over the glass.
Oh, when we look at Lehman coming out of junior, very successful in junior hockey, and in fact last year had 86 points in 63 games. What he's going to find this season is that the players are stronger, they're quicker, and he's only 168 pounds, so he's going to have a very difficult time in his own end, and that's why Nicolak is going to play him sparingly, just gradually work him into the lineup till he gets that confidence, which is so vital to a youngster.
Salming played it ahead. Now stepped away from a check. Murray thought he had him lined up. Now Vive gave it away. Troy Murray flipped it to center. Here comes Fraser looking for it. Didn't get there quickly enough. Dow's pass finds Salming going in with Anderson. Salming is bumped by Doug Wilson. Dow again in front to Anderson. A shot. Esposito juggled that one and held on. This program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, distribution, or exhibition, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, is strictly prohibited.
Now we had a look at Ben Wilson on the bench there. In fact, last Sunday was a very exciting time for the former Philadelphia Flyer. Wife gave birth to their first child, and he was telling us all about it this morning. That was probably the most important thing in his life right now. Very excited to be a new father.
14:37 to play in the period. The Leafs lead the Blackhawks by 3 goals. O'Callaghan fell to the ice. Martin and Therion dig in for it. That's Therion into the corner. Savard going back to help the Blackhawks. Finally, here they come with Larmer getting it to center too far for Secord. Palmatier will be out quickly. And again, too high over the to the crowd. And I'm looking at the referee, Brian Lewis. Sometimes he'll go back and warn a goaltender because this year, as you look at Stu Gavin, he's having a pretty good night. This year, Brian Lewis was telling me earlier this evening, they're concentrating, if they can, on keeping the flow of the game moving. And a new rule this year, the two captains will be spoken to by the official in charge of the game, the referee, for 30 seconds or so at center ice before every game, and telling them about things like this. Keep the puck moving along the boards. Don't freeze it. Get it going. Penalties will be assessed. I think that's a good move. Here's Therion. Didn't shoot it. Might have another shot at it. Larmer blocked it. Coming back out. O'Callaghan feeds it in. Here comes Savard with Seacory. Chasing Bill Stewart, who played it out to Martin. Martin's passed to Therion. Up on the play is Gavin. And Esposito covering up. The fans getting on Esposito a bit. He's allowed 5 goals. And they have not yet reached the halfway mark of the hockey game. 13:31 to go in the second period. Again, the Leafs start out led by Freacher to center ice. Freacher coming in, catching up, in a check in. And the pass, he tried to hit Poddubny. Behind him, hit a skate. Freacher now with Poddubny and Inachak. Poddubny knocked to the ice by Ben Wilson. Ben Wilson again feeds a pass ahead. The Hawks try to move it. Down to center is Gardner. Coming in, Ludzik. Ludzik trying to stick handled in. Poked by Paul Matier. That's the net. Again, Ludzik gets into the crease area. Another shot. That was blocked. Wilson let it go quickly. Keeping it in is Pat. Ludzik in front. Penalty coming up. Brown shot. Palmetier stopping it. And a penalty coming against Toronto.
Well, the line of Gardner, Patterson, and Ludzik are putting on some good pressure. You notice the top of your screen. That's where the penalty occurs as Poddubny takes the holding call. So this will give the Blackhawks a power play opportunity. Mentioned before about shooting the puck low, Bob. Wilson and Murray playing the point now. They're probably two of the best of the league. It's not how hard you shoot it, it's the location. Keep it low. Give the forwards a chance to deflect it.
Certainly, Doug Wilson has got to be one of the better shooters among the defensemen in the National Hockey League. 12:30 left in the period. Now the Leafs shorthanded. Killing some time was Derlego. Harris is on with him. Gingras and Salming. Doug Wilson, 24 for Chicago with Murray. There's Harris again. Couldn't stop Preston, though. Don't give Wilson too much room. He'll cause damage. Made it into Lysiak in front. They score. Beautiful goal by Chicago. Preston skating right in front of the net. But Wilson started the play.
Well, you have to like the way Tom Lysiak plays now in his 11th year in the National Hockey League. Watch this. Has the defense backing in, makes a move, and then somehow sweeps it over to Preston. I don't know how he could see him because he was concentrating on both defensemen. You notice the head is up now by Lysiak. Both defensemen go to him. The pass comes across, and as Palmetier is going down, Preston gets the goal. But Preston also makes it possible going for that net. Just thinking, hey, I'm going to get that pass, and I'm going to do something with it. Did he ever?
Here's Therion trying to get it back. Slides it over, and Esposito makes his best save of the hockey game. A good play by Greg Therion. And Esposito went sprawling down in front of his net to stop Martin from scoring.
Well, let's have another look at it as right away the Leafs come back as Terry Martin gets that opportunity and Esposito smothered it. So we've had 4 power play goals now tonight.
Orv Tessier was saying the other day there likely will be a move made, naturally, if they can come up with the right deal. There's Mr. Tessier.
You saw him shaking his head. Oh, what an intense. You know, getting back to last year about calling his team no heart. You know, as a former player, Bob, I would have taken offense to that. I would have been very upset, and the attitude you take as well, all show him. But the players, they took it very personal. You know, an excellent regular season. They lose 4 straight. Does that mean you've had a bad year? I don't think so.
I'm sure he had things in mind when he made those statements. Sometimes they work and sometimes they do not.
That one may have backfired.
Center ice, that's Savard speeding in. Secord. Here's the pass. Comes right back out. Secord was waiting, wondering if that puck would ever come back to him. He was all cocked and ready to let her go.
Well, that's the second time that the Blackhawks have had a 2-on-1 break and have failed to get a shot on net. It seems to be some hesitation on the Blackhawks' part. Do I shoot it or do I pass it? Well, let's look at this last one by Savard as the pass out of their own end results in a 2-on-1. Now Savard's getting closer, closer. He knows Secord's with him. All of a sudden, he's past the goal. That one went off the side of the net in front.
He also saw Terry Martin hustling back and maybe figuring he might have been in the way for that pass back to Secord.
Again, you made a good point before, Bob, saying you're never wrong when you shoot. There's a good angle of it. Secord hitting the side of the net and the puck coming in front.
The Leafs leading 5-3 as Daou goes behind the net with the defenseman Salming. Now starting out, Salming's pass at center was tipped down the ice by Anderson. Could go for icing as Brown goes back. It's icing against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous university boat race, where the Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings. Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
The backup goaltender tonight for Chicago, their number one goaltender, I think it's safe to say, fair to say, Murray Bannerman. Esposito, though, gets the nod tonight, so Bannerman will play tomorrow in Chicago. Toronto Maple Leafs lead by 2 goals. We're coming up to the halfway mark of the second period. Lehman's pass finds his man. Daou couldn't handle it, though. And Fraser turning, trying to hook it back in. He did. On a second to do it. And Salming waits. Now to Lehman. Pass across in front of his own net to Daou. Daou to center ice. Leafs have to turn and come back again. 5, leaving it for Lehman. To Daou. Daou decides to slap it in. Now the Leafs go in. Anderson went in behind the net. Well, the Hawks come this way. Fraser chopped at it. Fraser again. Forced back. Fraser trying to organize. Tim Higgins lost control, and Salming has it. 9:50 to play. Salming's neat play into Anderson. Daou was grabbed by Murray, spun around, and couldn't receive the pass. Fraser bumped lightly by Salming. Goes down to Lehman, who's back quickly. Lehman against Patterson, and the Leafs can't move it out. Again, Podubny took a swipe at it, and it hit Fraser. He was going off, or was he? They nearly got caught. They're on a quick change over there.
Bob, you've noticed that both teams have really used a lot of clutch and grab tactics, you know, hooking with a stick, just slowing the player down, and it really hasn't been called. That's something that referees talk about, and, you know, they could call it, but they've let it go tonight.
Tony Tandy, and what a start for that young man in this National Hockey League season. People are thinking about that trade again. What's he got, 8 goals?
8 goals, another one tonight.
Esposito, the skate save. Doug Wilson to the line. It's cleared to center. Ludzik played it over on the other side. Now Farish for Toronto. Here come the Leafs, organizing 3 of them to center. Preacher's pass. Just too far for Walt Poddubny. It's bumped by Murray going by. There's Murray and Poddubny again pushing at each other. Patterson holds it on the boards. And they'll get a face-off in the Chicago zone.
Peter Inachek on a couple occasions tonight, the poise that he has when he has the puck. You know, he doesn't panic when there is a crowd around. We noticed the 2-on-1 when he just coolly walked right in Esposito, and Esposito beat him on that play. But that's what makes Inachek such a good hockey player. When there's heat and he's in the battle of a lot of players one-on-one, he doesn't panic or give that puck away. Looks for his teammate, puts it right on his stick.
Inachek tied up, so Murray goes back for Chicago. On this wing, Ludzik gets it up to Bill Gardner. He tucked it in. Gardner will have to win himself now. Farish watching him. It comes in front of the net. The Hawks have it. Preacher went over there. Hawks still on it. Here's Doug Wilson. Look out. Great save by Paul Matier. Wilson letting her go as he took a step or two to move closer. He's in again. Fanned on it. Benning with his skate. He was tied up and tried to kick it out. Now he falls on it and gets the whistle. Jimmy Corrin at the Leaf bench. Mike Nicolak going with 7 defensemen tonight. So they don't see as much time as they want to. Sutter can't get through. Those 2 defensemen, Lehman and Salming. Gingras flipped it out. And Harris steals it. Harris coming in. Couldn't beat O'Callaghan. Fox is back. Harris knocked down by O'Callaghan, and I think we're going to get a penalty. Retaliation is the name of the game. O'Callaghan goes. Live from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, this is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
You see this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. And use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
Best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy. I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Keep an eye on the alongside the boards there as O'Callaghan rides his man out, but then that extra little shove there, and that's the retaliation that you had talked about, Bob. You take a hit, you give a hit, and if you want to retaliate, make sure the referee's looking the other way. In any event, the Leafs are on the power play, and they've already had 2 tonight. Chance for another one.
5-3 is the score with 8 minutes remaining in the period. O'Callahan for holding, and the Leafs power play lining up and coming down. Daou going in with 5, and Anderson into the corner. 5, score! Well, he didn't get much on the shot. He turned and nearly banged, but got it at the netminder and it hit Esposito and went in.
It really looked like the play was going to be offside or was offside. Saw Vaive trying to hold up. Now, how much time do you want? There isn't anybody close to Vaive. I mean, he's there by himself, had a chance to spin around and shoot it. Blackhawks very sloppy in their own end, not very good at their positional play. And again, Esposito is going down, not standing up, and Vaive slides it underneath him.
And the time of that Maple Leaf goal, the 6th for the Leafs tonight, 12-14. Benning and Daou with assists. Vaive's 5th.
And of
Not
course,
a bad start.
Of course, another power play goal.
So Rick Vaive with 51 goals last year is serving notice that he's going to have another bumper year. He gets a good start in this 83-84 season.
Now, you remember last year, Bob, when Vaive was struggling, a lot of people were down on him, and I remember talking to Nick Luck. He says, don't worry about Rick Vaive. He'll snap out of it, and he'll make his contribution, and did he ever?
You remember one stretch he went a long, long time hitting posts, hitting goaltenders right on the pads, sides of the net, missing the net by great chances. But you're right, he's 51 goals. Now the Hawks, that's Savard stealing it with Secord. Secord tried to drop it back. Gavin coming down. Martin went in behind him, and Gavin was offside.
Line matchups, of course, play such a big part in a game. Both coaches trying to match up. Tonight, really the only line matchup that Nick Luck is concerned about is Havtarian's line against Savard's line. They're even. They've each scored 1 goal. And because the Leafs are only playing with 3 lines, it's difficult for any other matchups to take place.
6:41 to play in the period. The Leafs leading by 3 goals. That's a pretty good lead at this point of the hockey game, and they jumped out quickly, 2-0 in the first minute of this game. Hawks tied it though. The Leafs grabbed the lead again by 2. They're leading now by 3. Ludzik maneuvering through. Following the play, Ludzik tied up by Podubny with Freacher. He was bumped by Doug Wilson. Now coming in is Lehman. Lehman nearly went in all the way. Tried to knock it in around the defenseman. Murray couldn't.
Well, the youngster certainly has a lot of offensive skills. And as we had mentioned before, his biggest test in the National Hockey League will be defensively. You know, only 168 pounds. He doesn't have that upper body strength to handle some of the big forwards in the National Hockey League. This is something that he'll really have to work on, and that's why, you know, you just bring Lehman along quickly. But he showed some good moves tonight.
There's a lead pass to center ice to Patterson. He's a speedster. Patterson grab, and watch out now. We might get a penalty shot right here. Yes, sir. We're going to get a penalty shot. The referee, Brian Lewis, pointed immediately to center ice. You could tell he had to call a penalty shot on that one. Patterson was speeding away.
You know, it's always a good idea to stagger your defensemen. Salming and Lehman were across the ice. That pass went right up the middle, and Lehman had no chance of catching his man. And this is what it's all about. Always a very exciting play in hockey. And now we're going to put you on the spot. Mr. Cole, will he shoot or will he stick handle and try the deke? What do you think?
He's going to shoot. I think Paul Mateer is going to come out a few feet and then settle back. As you look at the infraction, he was away, no question, and Lehman pulled him down. And a penalty shot awarded now. I was saying, I think Paul Mateer will move out naturally first and then move back in. Patterson will take the shot, or Tessier looks on. He knows, as Brian Lewis gives him instructions of what he's got to do. He gets one shot at this, and it'll have to be all done in all one motion, straight in toward Paul Mateer. Wait a minute, now he's winding up, Gary.
This is the thing that I missed. I never had a penalty shot
fast enough to get in the open.
Well, Patterson was, that's for sure, and he was home free. Now he's down talking to Mike Palmateer, and he's telling him that he's got to be back there.
Yeah.
He can't move until, of course, Patterson starts.
You only get the one shot on net, no rebound.
There's Patterson, Palmateer out, going back. Patterson tried to deke him. And Palmateer made the save. He tried to deke him. And no, sir.
You know, Bob, it's amazing how many players go on their backhand when they try to shift. You know, because of the hook stick, it's very difficult to put the puck where you want to put it. But if you go on your forehand, you can do a lot more with it. Let's watch Patterson again and watch him go to his backhand, try to beat Palmateer.
Well, Mike challenged him all the way. He stood up there and said, come on, gonna
give it your best shot. Good save by Palmateer, and that has to give the Leafs quite a lift.
There's a shot by Wilson. That one just wide. So it's 6-3 Toronto and the Maple Leafs with that 3-goal lead, and now have their goaltender come up with a penalty shot save. They're offside, the Hawks are this time. And you're right, Gary, that has to lift the Toronto Maple Leafs. Palmateer against Patterson, one-on-one. Showdown again, and here it is.
Well,
penalty shot moments ago.
You saw Palmateer, he'll come out. You know, you're forcing the player to try to deke you. You know, it's the advantage swings to the goaltender by coming out and then sliding back in your net. But I still say, you know, stay on your backhand. Drop your left shoulder, go to your forehand. I meant go to your forehand. And because the hook is the right way, you can do a lot of things with that puck. Shoot it high, shoot it low. You don't have the control backhand.
Ludzik slides it back, but the Leafs are on the line. Gingras to center. Harris on his right. Derlego trailing. Gingras tried to set it up. He missed the first pass. Ludzik back for Chicago. 5:40 left in this period. 6-3 Toronto. Wilson bumping with Harris. Pass to Gardner. Ludzik coming in for Chicago. Ludzik makes the play right over in front of the Leaf net. Nobody there but Benning. Lysiak watching him. Pass comes to Ferries to center. Both teams are making changes. The Leafs shoot it in. Gingras remaining on. Derlego try to get to the bench, but now decides to stay on there. Trying to force a whistle. He does, and it's called.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous university boat race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings! Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
6-3 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs after 33 minutes and 41 seconds. play in this hockey game. Now, Harry, we don't usually do this, kind of give the plot away on these classic games, but in the next little while, this is not the time to go to the washroom or go and get yourself a new beverage from the fridge.
No, it isn't. And if you miss Bill Mosienko's 3 goals in 22 seconds, you're going to enjoy a minute and 24 seconds where these teams combined for 5 goals. By far the busiest guy in the rink was the PA announcer.
That's right. Paul Morris couldn't keep up, I'm sure. Anyway, do not adjust your set. This is not fast forward. This is going to happen. Let's go back upstairs to Bob Cole.
Action around the league tonight. The Philadelphia Flyers are off to a great start. 5-1 over the Islanders. And Boston over Buffalo. It's still 2-1, our update game tonight. We'll keep you up to date on that one. Brian McFarland is watching that, monitoring that game for us, and we'll have the highlights to show you here. 6-3 here, the lead. The Chicago Blackhawks with 5 minutes remaining in the period. O'Callaghan trying to do it himself on the stop. Fox keeping it in for Chicago. Sutter back in the net, solving all over him. It's fired on the boards in the corner and back to the center ice area. Callahan again tipped it down the ice. Sutter going after it. Sutter coming in with Preston. He waits, turns over in front. Lysiak had a shot stopped. Solving was going down in front of Paul Matier. Daou coming in with 5. A pass in behind Anderson. Anderson trying to slide it back to Vide. 4:20 left in the period. The Hawks come to life again. Up to center. 3 of them going in. Lysiak. He controls it with a skate. Flipped it in behind to center. Preston. He was knocked down by Lehman before he could get a shot away. A good play by Gary Lehman. There's Lehman again. And now for Toronto. 4 minutes to play in the period. Anderson coming out. The center and shoot it in and go for a change. And there's going to be a penalty coming up. It'll be against Chicago. Lysiak of Chicago going to the bench with this NHL update. Let's now go to Brian McFarland.
And Bob, we go back to the Saddle Dome, the new Saddle Dome in Calgary, and Wayne Gretzky scores his 7th goal of the season from Curry and Coffey coming into the slot. A power play score at 1:06 into the second period. Edmonton leading 3-1.
Brian will be watching all the action from Calgary tonight. And don't forget our intermission coming up. Don Cherry, our friend Grapes, and Coach's Corner. And, of course, Brian will be standing by with all the highlights from the Edmonton and game.
Well, the Flyers kept their unbeaten streak alive. They're now 5-0. The Rangers, they haven't lost a game, and the Edmonton Oilers are trying to win their 5th straight.
The Lego shot, didn't get it away. Gingras has to come back. Lysiak is off. 3:45 left in the period. Minute 50. And the penalty to Tom Lysiak. Coming out, this is Freacher. Freacher down the right side. Cuts for the net. Back to Winnicek. And he rifle one. It'll ricochet back out to center ice. Lysiak's penalty was for slashing at 16:07. He has a minute and a half left in that penalty. Leafs coming in again. That's Freacher. He's got 1 goal tonight, and it was a dandy. Left it there. Gingras shot. Score! If you're going to allow Gaston Gingras to take time and walk into a shot like that, I don't know if there's a goaltender around who can move quickly enough.
Now the fans here at Maple Leaf Gardens love every minute of it. Keep an eye on Winnicek. Looks for that open man. Now that takes timing. Perfect timing by Gingras to get it all in one motion without stopping the puck. But watch Esposito. He's down on his knees before the puck even gets to him. Really had a tough night.
That puck doing a little dance coming in on Esposito, to be fair to Tony.
I got to remember, Bob, that Gingras shot that just, what, a couple of strides inside the blue line, and Esposito wasn't screened on it and put it right through the legs.
That's his first of the season. Winnicek and Freacher. 16:49. The time of the goal by Gingras. 7-3 Toronto. Hawks coming back. Fox to center. Therion watching him. The pass through. Scores! Savard, a beautiful shot. And we've got 11 goals in this hockey game, and the second period is not over yet.
We're not through by a long shot. Well, the fans at home, I'm sure they're enjoying the replays. See that all the goals, a lot of times, it's just a matter of a good pass, and Savard lets one rip. Now, you notice Palmateer came out to cut down the angle, but the location was right along the ice inside the goalpost, and the Blackhawks score their fourth of the night.
So 7-4, the Leafs back to that 3-goal lead. 17-12, the time of that Savard goal, his second of the season from Fox. Secord got it in front. Another goal. Steve Larmer was all along. And there's still time to tie it before this period is over, the way things are developing.
Now let me see. The Leafs have a converted touchdown, and the Blackhawks have a field goal and a safety. Now watch Larmer. What he does, he'll puck back. You know, he didn't panic. Again, he doesn't believe in a sophomore jinx. Some good work here by Al Secord, and hits Larmer perfectly. Slid it into the net.
Just 15 seconds after Savard had scored, we've got Larmer scoring. So it's 7-5. Toronto. It looked like it was over, but watch out. Here's Savard again. Coming in. Savard scores! Benny Savard gets his second. And look, folks, that's his third of the night, second in this period. 7-6.
And there is a happy Dennis Savard. And what he did is, while the Blackhawks had the puck in their own end, he just cut right for the center ice and got a perfect pass. The speed, Bob, that's what it did. Watch that pass come right out of his own end. Perfect. And the Leafs were hanging inside the blue line. The rest is history. Good move, and slides it through the legs of Palmateer. Now 7-6. Hold on to your hat.
Gary, the Hawks have scored 3 goals in 30 seconds. And it's 7-6 now. Anything can happen. 2:10 left in the second period. It's been a wild one here in Toronto. They're going for goals tonight. You like scoring? You got it. 2 minutes to play in the period. 13 goals here at the Gardens tonight so far. The Leafs now. 5 coming back. His shot. Here's Anderson. Scores! Statistician is going out of his mind.
You know, I think pretty soon the coaches are going to decide to put the board up. The goals are going fast and furious. A slap shot, and all Anderson does is just out-muscle his man for the puck, Tim Higgins, and score a goal. Watch this play by Anderson. Gets away from his check, past Esposito, and we are now 8-6. Let's look at Esposito. No chance as Anderson. What a good goal that one was. You know, I'm getting hoarse.
Well, it's 8-6 now. The Leafs back with a 2-goal lead with 1:40 to play in the period. What do we have, a 9-8 game out on the coast earlier this season? We're going to beat that tonight. Here's another shot. Look out! Palmateer barely grabbed it, and it rolled away in time. A minute and a half left in the period, and they're shooting for more. Face-off coming up in the lead zone.
Bob, those 3 goals by the Blackhawks took 30 seconds. You know, the NHL record is 21 seconds by Bill Mosienko. So the Blackhawks came within 9 seconds of tying a record.
Bill Mosienko, 3-21. Right on.
How would you like to be a coach right now? Nicolak shaking his head. Orville Tessier shaking his head. There isn't a thing you can do. You know, you don't even talk about defense right now. All you're saying to your players is, let's just make sure we get the last goal.
.124 left to go in this period. And we have now established, I haven't got the exact time. Now I've got it. 1 minute and 24 seconds, Gary. That's a NHL record for the fastest 5 goals. Previous record by Toronto and Detroit in 1944. So the Hawks in the lead. have established a record here tonight. Fastest 5 goals in an NHL game. 1 minute, 24 seconds. 54 seconds remaining in the period. Esposito stopping it. Fans on Espo again. 45 to play in the period. 8-6 Toronto. That's Ben Wilson trying to stick handle through. Here's Jim Corn back to center. 40 seconds to play. Corn shot off the shoulder of Esposito. Derlego centered it. It escaped. Ben Wilson had it hit him in front of the net. Sutter now for Chicago. His shot. Palmetier stopped it. 27-18 of the shots on goal. The Leafs with the advantage in that department. To this point, 20 seconds to play in the second period. Toronto up by 2. Looking for 3. Padubny. Stop. Rebound. Derlego upended. Wide open hockey. Fox to center. Fox. 2 seconds left. And the pass as the horn goes to end a wild and woolly scoring spree in this second period. So the score at the end of the second period is Toronto 8 and Chicago 6.
See this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. I use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
The best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy. I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah, noticed that the chip had become a crack. Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Hi, Dad. Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
5 goals in 1 minute and 24 seconds. It certainly needs a review. Let's go back and watch them again.
Left it there. Chikra shot. Fox to center. Tyrion watching him. The pass through. Scores! Savard, a beautiful low shot. Secord got it in front. Another goal. It looked like it was over, but watch out. Here's Savard again. Coming in. Savard. Score! The Leafs now. 5 coming back. His shot. Here's Anderson. Score! Eddie Milliken, our statistician, is going out of his mind.
The Leafs 8, Chicago 6. It's a madhouse on Carlton Street. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous university boat race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
Gary Dornhofer and Bob Cole are running out of ink on their pens trying to keep up with the scoring in this one, 8-6 in favor of the Maple Leafs. And Mike Nicolak, I guess as a coach, at this particular point, you're in the dressing room and Mike Nicolak's in there. At least you got the lead. And you're saying, well, what do you say? Try to tighten up?
Not unless you want your team to break into a gale of laughter. Now you're saying to yourself, I'm sure both coaches, because the game isn't over obviously and there's going to be more goals scored, is that the only way that this game's going to make any sense to me is if we win it. Because I'm not going to look at the tape because it would make a grown man throw up.
Now, Mike Nicolak is, Dan Maloney's working with him, Jerry McNamara is the general manager. This team, with Harold Ballard owning it, is the stewardship is really a major problem. And they are forever in a rebuilding situation. They have young, very young defense in front of Mike Palmateer, and we're seeing that with the number of mistakes that are made defensively. It really is a chore for Nicolak, who has arrived in Toronto after playing a lot in the American Hockey League, but really being most the guru behind Fred Shero and the Philadelphia success.
Well, I played junior hockey with Mike. He was a very smart, quiet player who did his job unspectacularly, and that's the way he coached. So if the Leafs were looking for a rah-rah tough guy to intimidate and to ignite fire, then Nicolak's not the man. And this is the 5th game of this season. They've only won once. And these are the kinds of games that decisions are made on how long you're going to coach. Unless you happen to win it, then somehow you can slide by the criticism.
Now, Dan Maloney, meanwhile, is probably brought on to provide a little of that, because we all know that in Dan's case, as far as his career was concerned, it was a lot of fire and brimstone.
Oh boy, he was one of the toughest customers I've ever seen play. And you know, one of the great compliments players get paid, but you don't see it too often unless you are a player or a coach, is when somebody says, geez, I hate playing against that guy. That doesn't sound like a compliment, but it is. And it's one of those.
He certainly was, and he arrives as a player first, and now, of course, an assistant coach. And I'm sure that in that little coaching cubicle that they had at the Gardens, remember that? I'm sure that the two of them must have been in there just pulling hairs out of each other's head after an 8-6 2 periods and a National Hockey League record of 5 goals in a minute 24 seconds.
Well, I don't know what you do on the blackboard except maybe just write help.
Well, we'll get some help. And we're going to go back to the 3rd period because the Leafs have an 8-6 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
See this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. And use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
Best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy. I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
There's one for you, Grandpa.
Big shootout. Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens tonight. Gary Dornhofer played 12 seasons in the National Hockey League, and I think, Gary, you were noted primarily as a defensive hockey player. How about describing the word check to me tonight?
Oh, well, we've got a fight right now, Bob. Now the players have to clear the Toronto end of the ice, which they're doing.
Fraser, I think, and Korn. Secord, make that Secord. It's twice tonight for Secord. Too tough.
You mentioned define the word check. Well, after watching this tonight, I think that's something that the players get twice a month, as in paycheck, because there hasn't been any checking. Boy, oh boy, I've never seen anything like it.
It's funny, for a moment in that second period, there's Secord, he wants to go back again. That might cost him. I think the linesman, Leon Stickle, had him subdued somewhat. But Secord, you can tell he wants to go back. Jim Korn, and now Brian Lewis is giving him, Secord, the ultimatum. They'll be going, Korn and Secord. But I was saying, Gary, for about 3 minutes in the second period, they began to hit. And then they stopped hitting. And it all started in the corner to the right of Mike here at 22 seconds of the third period.
As it turned out, Bob, Secord is going to get the extra 2 minutes for roughing. Both will get majors. And there they go. The Leafs have already scored 4 power play goals. Another opportunity.
Larmer comes over to the penalty box to serve the minor penalty for Al Secord. He and Jim Korn are off. And Orv Tessier wonders if he can get back into this thing. For a while, it looked as if the Hawks were out. Here's another quick shot right on by Wilson. The rebound is there. Palmateer, 10 feet out, made the second save. And the play is whistled dead. Ludzik on the ice with Daou.
Now 2 big saves by Mike Palmateer. Winning the draw, the Blackhawks, 2 shots. You know, the goaltenders have certainly looked weak at times, but you can't always fault the goaltender. It's a combination of all players on the ice. Forwards not getting caught, coming back, and then doing the job defensively, and also defensemen taking their men. So everybody has to share the responsibility.
Anderson coming in with 5. Got rid of it. They keep it in. Daou looks for 5 and Anderson. Daou again. Wilson trying to clear. He does. Down the ice it goes. 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the penalty. The minor penalty to Secord. It is being served by Larmer. The Leafs on the power play, leading 8-6. They're in again. Out again. So winding up is Benning. Benning with Anderson. Dropped it back. And now then, Farish comes in over the line. Farish left it for Benning. Into 5. 5 having some difficulty along the boards. Benning keeps it in the slot as Anderson. And he tried to hit Daou. It hopped over his stick. In front of 5. He put it right on. 5 again. Can't find it. And the Hawks shoot it down the ice. 5 had another great chance. Benning now coming in. Slides it back. 5 moving up along the boards. 4 players there. And they hold it. Face off in the Chicago zone. We've had a lot of goals tonight and records established in the National Hockey League in this game. It's 8-6 for Toronto. The fastest 4 goals, 2 teams, 1 minute, 1 second, was heretofore Colorado and the New York Rangers. Don Cherry will remember that one. January 15th, 1980. Tonight, 53 seconds. Gingras, Savard, Larmer, and Savard again. And then the fastest 5 as Anderson scored at 18-13. Fastest 5 goals, 1 minute and 24 seconds. Previous Detroit versus Toronto, November 15th, back in 1944. We're wondering about total goals, Gary, with 2 teams involved. Another penalty coming up. You see Inicak going off. So here, Gary, Inicak is off. Hooking penalty at 1 minute and 45 seconds of this 3rd period. The Leafs lead by 2. And the Hawks are even strength now at the moment. Larmer will be back in 26 seconds. Firing it in is Gardner. And the Leafs trying to bring it out. Gerlego comes to center ice. Gerlego played it up on the right side for Freacher. He couldn't reach it. Ben Wilson back of his own net, but here comes Salming. Salming slides it in front. He scores!
Why not?
Sure. 9-6. Freacher playing in his first game of the season, scoring again.
Now, Bob, certainly is a great way to come back, but, you know, we talked about playing good defensive hockey. You know, you notice that Freacher was tied up in front of the net, but the defenseman didn't really have him. He had his stick right beside him, but you have to take a man out forcefully. He didn't. Freacher got another goal. So it's been frustrating, not for only the goaltenders, but also for the defensemen and the forwards, as Freacher gets away from Ben Wilson, and that's number 9 for Toronto.
And the second of the season for Freacher, both tonight at 2:17. Borje Salming got an assist on that goal. Salming again with Tyrion, and Savard stopped it. The Leafs lead by 3 again. Here's Savard doing tricks, this time stopped by Martin. Savard back. Martin stopped him on the boards. Martin again looking for it. Now Savard gets away from Wilson. Down across the line he goes. Played it back to Larmer. He tried to hit Sutter in front of the net. Doug Wilson to Savard. He centers it. The Leafs are there. Martin coming out with Greg Tyrion shooting it down the ice. The Leafs at the moment are shorthanded. They will be for another 43 seconds. That's the time remaining in Inicak's penalty. Benning to center. Leafs have to go back. Paul Mateer covering up. 9-6 is the score. If you've just tuned in, they're smashing records all over the place tonight. There goes to Gavin. He's in. One man back. It's Keith Brown, and Gavin's shot stopped by Esposito. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the 3rd period. 15 seconds left. And the Toronto penalty to Inicak. Larmer missed it. Troy Murray backing up in his own zone. Harris watching him. Every move. He got away from Harris. Going in. Stopped. Got it back again. Tried to hook it out in front. Fraser centered it. Right there was Benning. Takes his time. Cooley throws the pass to the right side. And the long shot is stopped by Esposito. Now the teams are at full strength again. Higgins going for the corner. Hit the side of the net, and Paul Mateer wants to take no chances anymore. Little pushing and shoving. Paul Mateer out of the net. Officials in quickly. They'll sort it out. Tonight's game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks. Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Edmonton still leading Calgary 3-1 in the second period. And in Montreal, it's rather close. Canadians leading by a goal. And that now will be our update game for you tonight, because that's a real cliffhanger in the late stages. So we'll be asking Brian to watch action at the Montreal Forum and show us any as they occur throughout that third period. Canadians lead by 1. That's a close one. This one is not. Long shot by Anderson, raised the goal post. It hit Esposito and then hit the post. Nearly had another one.
And a long shot again, though.
Murray going in. Took a shot. He didn't miss by much on the short side. Another shot, rebound, score! Murray grazed the post, or maybe missed by an inch or two on his first shot. This time he put it in off the post. 9-7.
Well, if the coaches between the second and third period talked about playing defense, it hasn't worked as the goals just keep going in. Troy Murray lets the shot go. Now he'll follow up and then get himself into position. He's left all alone under the crossbar, and now the Blackhawks has 7. Notice that the Blackhawks have 3 men in front of Palmateer, only 1 man in there doing the checking, and Troy Murray had an easy time of it.
That's the first of the season for Murray. From Ben Wilson and Higgins at 4:52. And now the Leafs in a jacket again with Freacher. Freacher going after it. Back of the net is O'Callaghan. He played it out across the line. Benning tried to chop it back. The Leafs again in the center ice area. Inachak was bumped on the boards by O'Callaghan. And Greg Fox takes over for Chicago. Put it up high. Now Sutter will try to clear it. Fox bumped by Freacher. Puck comes to center ice. Some pushing and shoving over there. Freacher and Fox. Fox come in. Sutter is stopped. Gingras let her rip off the boards. It bounces back to the line, and Podubny is in with Freacher. Got rid of it. Leafs making 6 minutes gone in the third period. 9-7 is the score. Toronto leading. Another long shot. Palmateer deflects it over the glass into the crowd. Right here, 9-7 with 13:53 remaining, and they're about to drop it into the left of Palmateer. Hawks, Murray, shot nowhere near the net. Gavin with Martin with him. Gavin coming in. Gavin skating hard tonight. He was stopped this time by the defenseman, Doug Wilson. Little muscle going on behind the net. Savard is in the middle of it all. There's Savard rooting at it. Here comes Therion. Therion tied up by Wilson. Ludwig knocked down. Good work by Gavin. Shot by Gavin. Stop. Rebound. Esposito down. Puck harmlessly to the side. Wilson waited too long. Couldn't move it out. Salming near it. Now Salming missed that pass. Therion again. And offside, the Maple Leafs. Next Saturday night, the Montreal Canadiens will be here in Toronto, and I'll be back again along with Mickey Redmond. In Edmonton, Vancouver's there. I understand, Gary, you're taking that trip up.
Yes, I am, Bob. I'm looking forward to watching the Oilers. Basically the same team, only a year more of experience for that hockey club.
So the two games next week, Montreal at Toronto, Vancouver at Edmonton. Hockey night in Canada with all the action, all the goals.
You know, the Blackhawks finished 4th best record defensively last season. So this is very uncharacteristic of their hockey club, and I hate to be in the dressing room after the game, you know, and have to face Orville Tessier.
Kind of puts a dent in plans.
Well, he had mentioned that the Blackhawks, even though they were 3-1 going in, haven't played that year. They've won games, but haven't put 3 good periods together, as is the case tonight.
Troy Murray is bumped. Troy Murray again, pushing and shoving with Benning. Lego got rid of it. Here comes Murray. Bumped his man over there. Farish. 12:35 to play in the 3rd period. A 9-7 hockey game. Never know with all these goals. We just might have overtime yet. The Hawks exploding fast. The Leafs equally as fast at various times in this game. The Leafs back up for this one now. Keith Brown, soft pass to the far side, too far for Fraser. Benning for Toronto. Out to Harris, he leaves it for Derlego. Down with 5, he'll take it off the boards. 5! Stopped by Esposito. Good play by the Leafs though. 5, reading that beautifully. The Karam off the boards. Now Gardner, look out, shot, another shot. Palmateer stopped it. Jimmy Korn looks for some skating room. Finds it. He's away. Korn. Pass to the right. Korn back in front. Now to the corner after it. Tried to dump it in front. It hit Esposito. Stayed back there. Preston comes back with Fraser for Chicago. Preston turning. Played it to the far wing. And Fox moving up. Took a shot. Put it in front. Chance of the line. Callahan offside.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous University Boat Race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings! Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
We've had 16 goals scored in this game tonight. If you're wondering about records in that department, Vancouver defeated Minnesota 10-9 this season on October the 7th. That's not the record, though. 21 is the record. Goals scored by 2 teams, Montreal Canadiens versus Toronto St. Pat's at Montreal, January 10th, 1920.
Well, what's happening now, the goaltenders are starting to make some excellent saves. You just saw that sliding save with a skate by Mike Palmateer, and at the other end, Esposito made a great one on Rick Vive.
In that record of 21, by the way, Montreal won the game 14-7, if you're interested. Solving back in the net, doing good work. Nice play to center ice to Daou, but then his pass away too far for 5. That could be icing. It is. It'll be called back inside the Leaf line.
Well, it's just amazing how the game has changed. 10 years ago, in fact, our 10th year anniversary since our first Stanley Cup in Philadelphia is coming up. And at that time, you gave up 3 goals in the game. I mean, we had a big meeting. It was almost a summit conference talking about why you gave up that many goals. Now, you see it all the time.
They're in the third period there, and that is our update game. And Brian McFarland is monitoring that game from the Forum in Montreal. We'll show you further highlights as they become available. 9-7 here, Toronto leading. And the Leafs, Greg Therrien slapped it down the ice. They'll do this all over again. I don't know if they're getting tired, but another icing called against Toronto. Back it comes. The record we referred to earlier, established by Gingras, Savard with 2 goals, Larmer and Anderson of the Leafs. 5 goals, fastest 5 by 2 teams in the National Hockey League, 1 minute 24 seconds. Previous record, Detroit versus Toronto back in 1944, November the 15th. Something about the start of the season, isn't it? When they score a lot of goals, or does that count anymore?
Well, I don't think there's any bonuses for defensive hockey any longer. You know, at one time, 20 goals used to be the milestone, or not a milestone, but a target. You got 20 goals in a year. You know, when they had 6 teams, that used to be considered a good year. Now, you almost have to score that in the first 30 games.
Gordie Howe broke in 1947-48, I believe, and he had 7 goals in his first season. That year, Howie Meeker won the Rookie of the Year. Norv Tessier is wondering what to talk about after.
What do you think, Orv? You like this kind of hockey? Oh, boy. You know, the first game that I broke in with, I guess it was about 5 years ago, Toronto beat the Islanders 10-7. And we just had replay after replay of goals. And we're getting another one tonight.
Therrien to Martin. Martin couldn't handle the pass. Jim Corn brings it in. He waited long enough at the line. Nobody went offside. It was close, but they did not. Now Doug Wilson for Chicago. Larmer coming out. Waits a little bit. Stopped near center. Then Murray carries on. He is stopped. Savard. Good move. Another good move. And a good play. And Wilson's shot is blocked. 9:40 remaining.
You don't stop Denny Savard stick checking as Martin tried there. You have to get right in front of him and just look him square between the shoulders and try to take him out physically.
He's uncanny, though. Therrien's shot on the mark. Stopped it. Tony O has allowed 9 tonight. Mike Paultier 7. And they have 9:15 remaining in the third period. There's Savard barely outside the line. Offside then is Secord.